All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. People are still trickling in, but I don't want to keep and delay the panel too much. Just so everybody knows, this panel is being recorded. Okay, well, I'm an attorney, so I just have to give an attorney disclosure here. Anything we discuss or anything I disclose here as part of this is not to be construed as legal advice. It's just general education. Also, some of this material can be considered attorney advertising in some states, so please be aware of that. This webinar is also being recorded. So if you do participate, please understand that it is being recorded and will be available moving forward. A few housekeeping matters before we get going. First, I'll introduce myself. My name is Amanda Barton. I am a partner with Mr. Cannabis Law. Mr. Cannabis Law is a law firm based out of the state of Florida, but we operate in several other states that really focuses on business corporate matters in the cannabis space. We are focused on dealing and helping entrepreneurs both in cannabis and psychedelic industries, and really focus on those two industries exclusively. So if you have any business needs and you are operating those spaces, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help. Some general housekeeping matters. We are having a conference because of COVID. Unfortunately, it did get moved. We do have a new date. It will be June 3rd and 4th, located at the Mono-Wynwood Convention Center in Woodwood, Florida. Please come and join us. Now that we have extra time to plan, it's even going to be more awesome than it was already going to be. We have a star-studded lineup of people that will be speaking. We're also going to have an expo and lots of different breakout events. So please put that on your calendar. Reach out if you have any questions about that. We're all very excited to be able to bring you that conference this year. I do want to thank our sponsors for tonight's event. Our sponsors tonight are Trulieve, Cannabist, and Bonavita. So Trulieve and Cannabis are both multi-state cannabis operators. They have wonderful products that we actually have some representatives from both here tonight. So you're going to hear all more about their companies. And Bonavita is a company that specializes in humidity products. As you know, in the state of Florida, humidity is not a friend to your cannabis. And they offer some great products to help you control the humidity with your products. So thank you very much, guys, for sponsoring tonight. We really appreciate it. We also have another event coming up next week. It's a topic that's near and dear to my heart and something that I find extremely interesting. Unfortunately, I can't participate because I will not be in town, but it's Delta 8, Delta 9, and all the Canna variants. What do you need to know? So that is shaping up to be an amazing panel. If you're interested, please sign up. We look forward to seeing you all at that event next week. We'll just get kind of right into it. So tonight, we're here to discuss and introduce our leadership board. We have an amazing leadership board. Not everybody is on this call. Just to save time, we do have an extensive board. So we do have some great representatives from our board to introduce to you tonight. And we're going to be giving you our predictions for what's ahead in the 2022 year in cannabis. I want to start off with my co-president. He's the president of the Miami chapter, Eric Stevens. He is with Florida for Care, which is a Florida nonprofit. It was founded in 2014, and they were really instrumental in helping pass Amendment 2 in Florida, which basically is what established our medical cannabis program here in the state. Eric, do you want to give a little brief introduction?
Sure. What's happening, everybody? Thank you, Amanda. And thanks to the rest of the team. It's been a great couple of years that we've been doing this. Looking forward to continuing this again this year. I'm with Florida for Care, formerly United for Care. We put Amendment 2 on the ballot. We basically have been working for implementation. We had some litigation with the state. We've done some local, state, and business work. Any and all things as it relates to medical cannabis in Florida. And so I just got back from Tallahassee a couple of days ago, and I'll tell you a little bit later about some of the bills that are moving and the state elections later this year, et cetera, et cetera. But looking forward to chatting with you guys, and thanks again.
Thank you so much for your work up in Tallahassee. We definitely need a spokesperson for the medical cannabis users here in the state. So I appreciate your efforts. Next, I want to introduce Klaus Alvaro. He is the Physician and Community Engagement Manager at Truleath. As I mentioned, Trulieve is one of the medical marijuana providers here in the state of Florida and is one of actually the biggest in the state with 111 stores, I believe, open. Klaus, please introduce yourself and give us a little bit of background on you.
Yes, for sure. Hey, Amanda, and hey, everybody. It's great to see a few familiar faces in here. I hope everybody's doing great. Yeah, so I'm Klaus. I'm the Physician and Community Engagement Manager for Trulieve here in Florida. I'm focused in Florida right now. Trulieve is the first fully licensed medical marijuana treatment center in the state of Florida. And currently we are the largest provider in the state of Florida with 111 dispensaries open, 111 stores open in the state. But we're a little bit bigger than that. We're in 11 states combined. We have 159 dispensaries open as of January 4th of 2022. And we have a combined 3.5 million square feet of grow available at the moment. So that's a little bit of what we do. If you guys need anything regarding outreach for Trulieve here in Florida, I will be happy to help you.
Amazing. That's an impressive amount of grow space. Next, I'd like to move on to Aisha Alves. She is the executive cannabis recruiter at FlowerHire. FlowerHire is one of the leading cannabis recruiting agencies, specifically for executives here in the cannabis industry. So they staff your C-level suites and above, really focused on niche positions. FlowerHire is definitely, if you're looking to get into the cannabis industry and you're an executive, FlowerHire is definitely somebody that you should reach out to. Aisha, take it away. Give us a little introduction.
Thanks, Amanda. Hey, everyone. It's great to see you again. Thanks for the great introduction. I think that I'm, lucky to represent a brand that, the name speaks for itself, and a lot of people have been familiar with our work even before meeting any of our recruiters. So as Amanda said, I do work for FlowerHire. We are the premier talent search firm for the cannabis industry. Our main offices are in Los Angeles, but now with the growth, of course, of the market, we do have strategic presence in different markets. So I am down here in South Florida, and I oversee a lot of our account management and talent search for this region. I'm really looking forward to getting to a discussion with all of you guys and talking about what's coming up for us in 2022.
Wonderful. And I forgot to mention Klaus and Aisha, they're both new to the board this year, along with Mr. Tim Brown, who I'll be introducing next. Tim Brown, or also known as Coach, is the founder of Treehouse Blends in Lipstick. Both of which are minority and family-owned businesses that specialize in the cannabis industry. Specifically, Treehouse Blends has CBD-infused teas and fruit juices. And Lipstick is a disposable, solvent-free, full-spectrum CBD vape pen. Tim, give us a little introduction about yourself, and welcome to the board.
Thank you, Amanda, so much. A pleasure to be here. Yeah, so Treehouse Blends and Lipstick, they're now owned by our holding company, which is Baron Braxton Holdings, and we were structured for capital raise purposes. Right now, we came to the market in Florida and gained a lot of steam with CBD. Of course, Delta 8 came into the picture and kind of cooled our steam down. But by then, we had established a lot of relationships through C-Lab, through other consultants and business partners. And it's allowed us to now actually just secure fully vertical licensing and trademark in the state of California. So right now, we'll actually be able to go to market with the THC versions of what we already have in the market for CBD. So very excited to talk and meet with you guys, and very excited to discuss what the future is for cannabis.
That's huge news. Congratulations, Tim. That's amazing.
Thank you very much.
Tim has come to many of our events and been nice enough to provide the CBD juice beverages at those events, and they're very tasty, and I can't wait to see what you bring with the full line. So fabulous. I'm super excited for you. You deserve it.
Thank you so much.
Next, Doug Kulig, who is a senior sales executive at Bonavita. Bonavita, as I mentioned, is a company which offers humidity control products for the cannabis industry. Specifically when it comes to cannabis, protecting your terpenes is extremely important. That brings a lot of the diversity, flavors, and qualities to your cannabis. So it's an amazing product, which we definitely need with the high humidities here in Florida. Doug, give us a brief introduction.
Hey, Amanda, thank you very much. Boveda, Bonavita, however you want to say it, we are the leaders in two-way humidity control. I am Doug, Senior Sales Executive, like Amanda said, for Boveda. We specialize in two-way humidity control and work with cannabis, hemp, licensed and traditional market growers throughout the country. I guess I want to give a little brief on myself because not many of you know me out there. New to the board, like Amanda said, here at CLab. I've been in cannabis for albeit about 5 years and really started this journey in 2016. Was out in California, big tech with my then girlfriend, now wife, and weed went legal for recreational use. And I looked at it and I said, you know, I think I want to take a chance and get out of this big tech game and jump into the legal weed game. Started working for a wholesaler about 3 months later, biggest one in the game, called Green Lane. Went from there to another closer to the plant touching company called Packcase, which does premium pre-roll packaging for pre-rolls, clearly. And then recently, about 1.5 years ago, joined the Boveda family. So yeah, that's a little bit about Boveda and Doug. Thank you very much.
My deepest apologies on the mispronunciation. Thank you for setting me straight. Well, thank you for that great introduction. Next is Diana San Miguel. She is the co-founder and creative director of CannaCurious magazine. That is a premier digital women's cannabis magazine. It showcases the many ways that cannabis can enhance a woman's lifestyle. Women on this call and on this panel, sign up or go check out their website because it's amazing the content that they're putting out. Michelle, Diana, give us a little bit more background on you and the magazine.
Okay, so yes, thank you, Amanda. Like you said, I'm the creative director and co-founder of CannaCurious magazine. We're a digital and print publication, and our goal mainly is to change and normalize the conversations around cannabis among women. We are enlightening and educating women on all the wellness aspects of the plant. That's how we first start. It's not a drug, it's a plant. And every day more we see the CannaCurious women wanting this information. So that's our main focus, get the information out there through facts, through relatable stories, verified products. So that's our main goal, normalize the conversations. In addition to the magazine, we're also produce and create experiences around cannabis. We have a signature event, which is the rolling parlor. We teach people how to roll joints, and it's amazing how just by teaching them this, we put the education out there, we normalize cannabis, we create a sense of community. It's okay to be in this kind of events. So that's what we do. We putting cannabis out there, making it approachable and relatable to women.
Yeah, uniting people over cannabis. I love it. On both fronts.
Yes, on both fronts. We usually get men in our events. We're merely targeting women. It's, the women consumers is growing every day. We started CannaCurious magazine because we felt there was a gap. Brands were not talking to women in a way we could relate and feel like it's okay for me to do cannabis or let me learn more about this. So that's why CannaCurious magazine was born. And if you guys haven't seen it, this is our magazine, our latest issue. We are working on our 5th one. It's coming out on April, and we're just continuing to change the conversation and be part of that change.
Amazing. Thank you for joining and joining the board. Welcome as well.
We're very excited. I'm very excited. So
yeah, somebody commented it's a beautiful magazine cover, and I have to agree. That is
whoever
very
wants
beautiful.
Just leave their address. We can mail it, and follow us at CannaCurious Mag on Instagram. And yeah.
Wonderful. The next two people I want to introduce are definitely no strangers to CLab. They are veterans. Eric Ron, I'll introduce you first. He's the managing director and founder of S2S Insurance Specialists, which is a division of Ron and Associates, another company that he facilitates and owns. So S2S Insurance Specialists is specific as to the cannabis and psychedelic industries. It's an international insurance intermediary and brokerage firm that really focus specifically on the difficult to insure businesses. Anybody in the cannabis space, knows that you have so much trouble with banking and insurance. So Eric Ron is extremely versed in this industry and knowledgeable, and is a great first call to help you, with all your insurance needs. Eric, give us a brief introduction.
Hello, everybody. Amanda, you did a great sales pitch. Can I use that? So Eric, Ron, I am involved in cannabis for about the last 8 years, very active on the national level at the National Cannabis Industries Association. I do a lot of work lobbying and also representing Florida to a wider community outside of CLAB. A lot of my clients are all over the country, so there's an opportunity to bring in, new topics, new subjects, and look at things not just from Florida's point of view, but also nationally where cannabis is going and what we can expect to see in the coming year.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And last but definitely not least is David Ron. He is the Southeast Territory Manager of CannaGen Insurance Specialists. They are an insurance company that provides coverage for cannabis, CBD, and hemp businesses. David, give us a little introduction about yourself. He is also a veteran and has been around at CLAB for many years supporting us.
Thanks, Amanda. My name is David Ron, and I'm with CanGen Insurance Services. Since 2008, CanGen has been one of the leading cannabis, hemp, and CBD master general underwriters in the industry. What that means is I like to work with people like my father, Eric, and other insurance professionals all throughout the Southeast in providing them the appropriate products and services to go out there and target those cannabis, hemp, and CBD clients and provide them with the insurance products that they need in this industry. What really sets us apart is that we have a comprehensive product suite with the availability to accommodate anybody who does operate in those industries at any level. We write in all 50 states, and we also are backed by A-rated carriers. So we're one of the best in the business. And like it says in Farmers, we know a little because we know a lot because we've seen a lot. So that's where we set ourselves apart.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Just because I don't want to play favoritism here, I'm actually going to work backwards. I would love to hear all y'all's predictions for the 2022 year ahead. Specifically, what do you expect to see in the cannabis industry? David Ron, I'll kick it off with you. And actually, before we get going, I forgot to mention at the beginning of our webinar, if you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A section or the chat section found at the bottom of your screen. We will try to answer them in real time. If we skip over your question, don't worry. I will save a few minutes at the end to address any questions you may have. And for you panelists, I'd love to make this more of an interaction and a discussion amongst us. So if you want to weigh in on anything that any of the other panelists are saying, feel free to please interject. Let's make this a fun discussion. And actually, we have one more person to introduce. Definitely last but not least, Michelle Sam Miguel. I am so sorry. We have a lot of people tonight, so I'm trying to get to everybody. Usually our panelists, our groups aren't this big. Michelle is one of the marketing coordinators at Cannabist. Cannabist is also a multi-state operator that operates in Florida, Arizona, California, and many, many other states. They have a great presence nationwide and offer some fantastic products. Michelle, please give us a brief introduction.
Hey there, everyone. Nice to be here with everyone. So I am the marketing coordinator for Cannabist. We are a multi-state operating system company based out of New York. We have 14 stores here in Florida. We have 131 facilities, including 99 dispensaries, 32 cultivation sites, manufacturing facilities throughout the entire state, the United States, and we're also in the UK. If you need any help with anything like that, you can just definitely let me know. I cover the half portion of the state, and that's basically it. Yeah.
Well, and welcome to the board. Michelle's one of our newer leadership members. So welcome. We're excited to have you. I love all the women representation this year. And last but not least, I don't know how I skipped over Todd Rosales. Everybody knows Todd from the podcast, but he is the Vice President of Business Development at Heisman, which is a new cannabis company based out of California, with Ricky Williams. Todd, give us a little bit of background about yourself for those of us who don't already know you from the podcast.
Absolutely. So in Amanda's defense, when she usually sees me on these meetings, I'm supposed to be behind the scenes producing it. So she probably didn't realize I was actually part of this panel. So as Amanda said, I'm Todd Rosales. I've been in the cannabis space for 3 to 4 years at this point. I joined C-Lab early on, and it's been an absolutely amazing group for me. So anybody who's new to this organization, new to this leadership team, if you put what you put into C-Lab, you get out of it. If you put enough in, you're going to get a lot out of it. So, I mean, just to kind of give my success story here, and then I'll talk about Heisman for a quick second. You know, I had no job when I came to C-Lab. Rob was nice enough to actually, and I probably shouldn't advertise this, let me into my first meeting for free and didn't charge me the $50. So oh, guys, hold on a second. You okay?
Todd's got
Sorry
young
about
ones.
that. My daughter was coughing on something. I want to make sure she was okay. So I had no job, and now I'm the VP of Business Development for a full-on cannabis brand. So if you put enough into C-Lab, you'll get out of it. We launched Heisman in the beginning of November. We are a California cannabis brand, and we're an Oregon cannabis brand launched by Ricky Williams. And yeah, we are all about the sports cannabis lifestyle. So check us out at Heisman.co. And if you guys like our gear, you can find that at Heisman.shop.
I like your secretary.
Thank you. She's going to be coming in and out of camera. And
That
if
is
you guys
fine.
hear Coco Melon in the background, I'm sorry. It's the only way I can keep her off camera.
Be
Fair
careful,
enough.
Todd, I might recruit her.
If you're willing to pay, I'm shopping her around. Modeling gigs, ambassador gigs, street teams. She's available for it all.
Party appearances. Actually, I'm going to kick off with you, Aisha. What are your predictions for the 2022 year ahead?
Thanks, Amanda. You know, I was thinking about, this conversation we were all going to have, and I think it is really exciting to talk about what's coming for us in the coming year. And at the end of the day, predictions are just predictions, right? And in an industry as, new and exciting as cannabis, it is kind of hard to know what the future holds, but we can make educated guesses for sure. And in the end, the only thing that we can truly be guaranteed is that there will be massive growth in 2022. And I think that's something that we can all, totally agree on. So what that means from our standpoint, from a talent standpoint, is that we need to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to be ready for that growth. So in 2022, based on the trends that we're seeing across the industry, not only from the patterns we're seeing coming from our clients and the way that they're hiring, but also the trends that we're seeing among the candidate pool, right? The talent pool that is looking for the jobs. Here are some things that I think you guys should all expect when it comes to building your talent and workforce in cannabis. So number one, cannabis is going to continue to be one of the leading job creators in legalized states. So I know all of us have seen that Leafly report that talks about the statistics across hiring in the industry. And as more states come online, you're going to see cannabis really leading the charge in terms of positive job growth. Number two, and this is great news, is that competition for talent is really going to heat up. There are going to be a lot more players in the game when it comes to companies that are hiring. So those of us who have, the early adopters, people who took that initial pay cut to get into cannabis early, now is when you're going to start seeing the payoff from that. You're going to be more highly sought after. And the other side of that is that, the companies are also going to work harder to keep you. So that whether that means being more creative with bonuses, equity, whatever they can do to really grab and hold on to great talent on their teams, we're going to see more of that. The flip side of that is that we're also going to see more non-competes. So, Amanda, as an attorney, I know that this is something that speaks to you. We're going to definitely see a lot more people going after some of those more restrictive clauses in their contracts to keep them in one spot. So look out for that. I will also say that another thing that we're seeing across the board is the East Coast is going to continue to drive the most job growth across the industry. You know, for many years was very much a West Coast thing, but in 2021, your biggest growth was in Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Florida. And you're going to continue to see that through this coming year. So you want to make sure you keep an eye on those hot states. And finally, and this is what I feel is, you know, probably the best news overall, you're going to continue to see a rise in cannabis companies really prioritizing and investing in, you know, representation, diversity, and inclusion. It's such a big part of who we are as an industry. It's part of our DNA. And not only does it represent, you know, why all of us went into this industry, but from a purely business standpoint, it shows that companies that invest in that and really, you know, stand behind what they're saying, they perform better. You know, diverse teams, they perform better. And, you know, it's just good news all around. So there's lots more information, and I know we have a lot of things to talk about. So I will just say there's a lot of good stuff to come. And I'm also going to pop in the chat here if you want to learn a little bit more about, you know, what's coming up in 2022 from an industry and talent standpoint, whether you are looking for a job or whether you are looking to build a team. I'm going to pop this in here. This is actually an article that is a great resource to kind of talk a little bit more about those trends moving forward. So yeah, Amanda, I hope that was helpful.
That was the most concise, abbreviated, wonderful prediction I've heard. So thank you for that. And actually, if you want to hear more, Aisha is helping also on February 17th with our panel, the second panel and second panel out. And specifically that the title of that program is 6-Figure Cannabis Careers, Get Them While They're Hot. So she'll be dropping a lot more knowledge on everybody on February 17th. So sign up for that event if you're interested in participating.
Thanks, everyone. Looking forward to seeing you there.
David, going back to you, what are your predictions for 2022 in the insurance industry?
So my predictions for 2022, I see two things. First of all, now that companies are really growing in this industry and attracting a lot of outside investments, outside investors are really going to be interested in looking at companies that have proper management liability insurance. That means either directors and officers insurance or employment practices liability. And I'm sure Eric can speak to this as well, is that companies with D&O insurance look more profitable to outside investors. The next thing that I see that's going on in 2022 is probably more clearer and hopefully more favorable policy language towards novel cannabinoids like Delta 8 and Delta 10. And hopefully we'll see more clearer language in these policies that will help these business owners to fully understand what's being covered and what's not being covered as far as products are concerned.
Amazing. I appreciate you sharing that. And I do think that's a very good point as far as, you know, outside investors looking to invest in a cannabis company. Insurance is an important part of that to make sure that their investments are protected. So I think that's a very good point to raise. Eric, what other predictions do you see in your world?
So I think in this coming year, we're going to see, from a legislation standpoint, not a whole lot of new movement on a national level. The Safe Banking Act probably is the first thing that's going to get passed. And that's probably going to end up getting tagged on some other piece of legislation. But I think we're going to start seeing some movement. And it will all come down to what happens in the 22 elections after that. But this is a marathon, not a sprint. We're not going to get everything we want right out of the bat. The other thing I see is there's going to be a lot of mergers and acquisitions. I think there's a lot of companies who have run out of money or are positioning themselves as brands that are worthy of being acquired. But I think as we start seeing the growth of MSOs from one state to another, we're going to start their needs to bring on more brands and more product is continue to move forward. And then the other thing is, and I agree with Alicia, we have to bring in more talented management from outside the industry to run these businesses because they're just growing at such a rate that they need to be scaled properly.
Yeah, all great predictions. I completely agree.
Eric,
with
I couldn't agree with you more on the consolidation and safe banking. It's almost like you were reading off my screen and I was reading it through your words. That's pretty awesome. You know, safe banking is definitely something that small operators don't have access to, and large operators that have billion-dollar valuations have real ease of grabbing money and going and doing what they need to do. You know, and until that changes, it's going to be hard for smaller craft farmers to operate in the space as it grows. Just wanted to tag on there.
No, I completely agree. I think we're going to see a lot of consolidation, both on the cannabis side and hemp side as well, as CBD becomes, you know, very, very popular.
So,
I think
so
we're going to see.
Are we discussing, or are we just going by question here? Because I kind of want to continue this conversation.
Jump in, Todd.
Yeah, no, Eric. So like, I've felt this way for a while, but I feel like you, me, and everybody else, we've been saying the exact same thing for the past 2 years now. And COVID, I think, pushed that a little further back. So the year that we went into COVID 2020, we thought that was going to be the year of M&A and consolidation. That kind of stayed off. And then there was a ton of it going on. I definitely see that now. But are we going to be sitting here and like just keep saying this year and year again? Because I'm just as guilty of it and we're starting to see it. But are we truly going to see like mass consolidation now? Because I was at a Hall of Flowers, and the amount of brands that are out there that you've never heard of or you don't see in really any dispensaries is incredible. And then you're starting to see all of the dispensaries, instead of going after new licenses and opening up new locations, what they're doing is they're just finding dispensaries that are distressed and rebranding them and keeping people as part, you know, keeping them in the game and working. So like it is starting to happen now. So are we finally right? And it is going to happen now, and then we can move on to another topic next year? Or is it just going to kind of happen now and then maybe fizzle out at the end of the year? I'm interested to see everyone's take on that.
Well, I think when you have a snowball going down the hill, and you've now turned into a $20 billion industry, and there's continued growth, you're going to always see this type of merger and acquisition and scale as an industry scales, and the deals will get bigger. Regional players will start going national, but you know, there's always going to be a spot for the small independent as well. So, you know, it's just a matter of what are your goals and objectives, and what do you want to do in this industry.
I would like to add to that as well. Honestly, I think that discussion that's been going on about mergers and acquisitions and the consolidation, almost like liquor and tobacco, I honestly think it's putting the cart before the horse, because this is still a regional business. Like everybody's got to perform at a regional level. Nobody's crossing state lines. Even as an MSO, your performance is based in each region. And with that being said, the smaller operators actually have an advantage over MSOs. They're at the ground level. They're actually moving a lot more product, and they're actually managing the quality control a lot better because it's a smaller operation. But what I will say you're starting to see a lot of is the bigger companies reaching down, like you just saw Trulieve, Klaus, congratulations. You guys went and merged with Connected, which just makes fire. You just saw Wiz Khalifa do a deal with Cresco Labs. I think what's starting to happen is the assumption that this is going to go like bigger industries. 2 years into it, they're saying that it's really not going like that, and they're going to have to reach down and deal with the people that are actually profitable.
Yeah, wonderful discussion. I agree. It is so hard, as you know, we've heard on multiple panels where we've had multi-state operators. The operations itself, like operating in multiple states, it takes an army because it's so specific to every state. And like, goodness, you can't have the same marketing campaigns in every state just because of the different regulations or packaging. Huge issue. You would think it'd be simple to find one package that could be used in all your states. Not true. Some require white, some require clear, some require, it's very difficult for the multi-state operators. So some of the, like, I agree, some of the community, the smaller dispensaries and companies do have a leg up on some of the big multi-state competitors for that reason.
I think this year is going to be the most interesting in the fact that, you know, when we look at M&A, I think a lot of people, when they think about it, they think about it from an area of success, right? Like obviously the deal Trulieve just did with Connected, it's one of the best top well-known cannabis brands, right? So we look at M&A in that way for big companies trying to find really great companies to kind of ramp up and continue to scale. But I think what we're about to see is a lot of roll-ups of distressed assets or potentially distressed assets, or candidly just operators that are so sick of dealing with all of the roadblocks that cannabis has to offer that they don't want to be in it by themselves anymore. And this is where the MSOs are going to have a huge advantage, because they're going to come in with their deep top pockets to all of the smaller companies and brands that don't have the ability to raise capital, because that capital has been burned through by all the large companies that already raised it. And they're going to buy some of these assets distressed. They'll probably buy 51% and keep those people operating. So it'll be really interesting to see how many people are willing to stick it out and continue to weather the storm of 35% taxes in California versus the ones that are ready to kind of throw their hands up in the air, do a deal, get their earn out, and just work for another company. It's going to be very curious to see how that pans out over this year.
Definitely. And while you're at it, Todd, do you want to give us your predictions?
My predictions. I think Heisman's going to be the #1 brand in the freaking country. That's my prediction.
In true form. I love it.
So no, I mean, I don't know. Let's see. So we're in 2022. I think I don't really have a prediction for this year, but overall cannabis market, I think that New York will be the #1 cannabis market in the next 5 years. It will eclipse California, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's going to be the #1 cannabis market in the world. And I also think that Texas will legalize sooner than people believe that they will. You know, it's seen as a very red state. It's seen as a very conservative state, but those oil guys are going to make something happen where they can continue to make the money. So I think there's too big of a cannabis community there. As far as, you know, the legal markets in 2022, I think that you're going to see some interesting things happen outside of California as far as people trying new things, because California has a big legacy. There's a bloody battles to be had there. I think people are going to start getting really crafty outside of California.
I'd be happy to work on some Texas stuff. We got to get that changed.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big market. I mean, it's a huge state. So I'd love to see them come online. It offers opportunity for all of us on this call and many of the people.
As soon as they legalize in Texas, I'll be living somewhere between Austin and San Antonio.
We'll come visit you, Todd. Michelle, what are some of your predictions in 2022?
Definitely big. Definitely think, you know, with all the medical marijuana, with all the companies coming into Florida, it's going to be a big explosion this year. As far as cannabis, you know, product development's huge. We went from 30 SKUs last year to 150 this year. So definitely product development is definitely in our future this year. We did partner up with Mike Tyson. So we are hopeful to bring that Tyson line into Florida. Just how the state of Florida is, you know, with the regulations and the register, like the OMMUR, it's going to take a few steps for us to actually get his brand down here, but definitely some brand recognition from the West Coast and stuff like that. Hopefully with COVID and everything, you know, we'll be doing more events and more in-person, you know, interactions and stuff like that. And just basically that, just looking hopeful for just a regular year this year, just with bigger growth and just brand recognition throughout the year.
That's incredible. I did not know you more than tripled, almost quadrupled your product line. That's fantastic.
So,
it's insane. Yeah.
Not that you work in that market, but I do want to say that I was quite pleasantly surprised to see that the nicest store in San Francisco, in downtown San Francisco, was a Columbia Care store.
That's awesome. Yeah, the West Coast stores are definitely beautiful. You know, the Arizona, if you ever are in Arizona, the Tampa store is beautiful. Yeah, it's just a beautiful store all around on the West Coast. So hopefully we reflect that down here in Florida.
Yeah, no, Project Cannabis. And if anybody ever gets the opportunity to go in San Francisco, it's called Project Cannabis. And literally they just hand you a basket like you're at a farmer's market and they say, go have fun. It's one of the greatest stores.
Beautiful outside. It's like all black, like very unique looking outside. Yeah.
I love it. Behind the scenes, I love what Columbia Care does with their research, and as far as really like trying to help the patients and help the users. They do I know a lot behind the scenes when it comes to research and development.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, we just have the storage system in the office, in the stores right now, and it basically will be able to narrow everything down to what feeling you want, what just everything that you want to just categorize into what you want to use the products for. It's going to be able to narrow it down for you, so it's a little bit easier than just talking to the bud tenders or anything like that. So definitely we strive in definitely patient education with Cannabist.
Yeah, I think that's such an important component, because especially here in Florida, being a medical market and seeing as we do have a lot of elderly people that are looking for relief with cannabis, sometimes their doctors don't know what to help. The doctor will give the recommendation, but doesn't know what to advise as far as the product line. So there's definitely a discrepancy. And sometimes, the bud tenders aren't necessarily, they're not doctors, right? So you can't expect them to know, exactly what's going to help the client. So there's definitely a need for more of the patient education side. So I love that you guys do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Diana, what do you think is going to come in the year ahead?
Okay, well, from a women's perspective, we're going to see more growth, and we're going to keep growing. We saw an immense growth last year on women consumers. There's younger women who are being raised under legal states, so they're so much more comfortable with cannabis. We've seen on our audience and our followers, they're eager to know more about the plant, how they can find solutions on the plant, with the plant for daily wellness and health problems that are more natural and better for them. So we're going to continue to see that, women growing in that aspect. Because of this, we're also going to see the brands are going to keep reaching out more to women. We've seen how lately they've changed their packaging, they've changed their approach, because they've seen this immense growth in women consumers. So that's definitely going to keep growing. This is also going to push for more women in leadership positions, like brands that are understanding that if they want to get women in this to be consumers, they need to talk to them in an approachable and a relatable way. That's happening, and we think it's going to continue to happen. We are from what we get from our audience, they're also eager to work in the industry. So the CannaCurious woman is there, and they have an agenda. They want to be part of the conversation. They want to change the conversation. They want to normalize it. And I'm a truly believer when women set themselves to something, we get it done. So I think it's just a year of growth for women in the cannabis industry. So that's my short prediction, but I think it's powerful. And
I would like to add to that as well, Diana. Interesting. I don't really think you really have to fight that much. This business was actually built on women customers. When we actually pulled the back end over the 4 years of who our target market was, who was actually spending the most money consistently, it was women between the ages of 22 and 40 years old, mostly moms, mostly career driven. And another thing that falls in line with what you're saying, the name of your magazine is CannaCurious. And in our deck, when we do a study, investors are really big on, okay, you got your customer now, who's your next customer? And that's actually the term we use for the next customer, the CannaCurious, the people who aren't the pothead, the people who want to enjoy the benefits, but really don't want it to be broadcast. And this is where we are into the beverages and the inhalants, and things are not so combustible and smelling like weed. So just to add to that, I think that you guys are a lot further along than people say, because this business was absolutely built off of women. I can honestly tell you that.
We are, but there's this huge stigma around it, and we need to continue. That's where the shift is going to happen. So if we normalize the conversations, if we make it approachable, if we make it relatable, and it's okay for me to say I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, and yes, and I use cannabis, we can continue to see that growth. So yes, it's not hard, but the stigma is huge. And I think women in cannabis right now, they're having a strong momentum, and we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep pushing, and we want to be part of this change. And we don't just see it here, we see it globally. There's just everywhere we see women fighting for being able to grow in your house. I mean, we see it in South America, we see it in other countries where they're just trying to make it, legalize it for wellness aspects so we are the decision makers when it comes, and especially when it comes to health care in our households. So if we can get women to re-educate them and understand how they can solve much better than opioids and all these other drugs, we can definitely have an impact on legal consumers, female consumers. So it's not hard, but the stigma is there, and we got to keep pushing to change it.
Yeah.
And normalize it.
I agree. And I don't want to cut you short. I would like to ask Aisha, have you seen, I'm trying to be cognizant of time, but I do want to ask very quickly, have you seen that you're placing more women in the executive roles, or what have you seen from the actual the hiring side?
It's a yes and no. I feel like we're definitely seeing a lot of outreach from women who are saying that they are looking to make the pivot into cannabis because they don't see a clear path for themselves in their current industries. They're looking at that expansive growth and really kind of being drawn. I will say that across the board, we can do better, not only from a gender equality standpoint, but also from a, diversity inclusion from a racial standpoint. There's still a lot of work to be done. And that's why it's good that we're having these conversations, all of us want more women in the industry, but we have to make a real effort to make sure that they're being seen and they're being given the opportunities that they deserve. So yeah, thanks for asking.
I think we should definitely have a panel on this, especially maybe around International Women's Day or something, but I'd love to continue this conversation later. We are running out of time though, so I do want to get to everybody, but let's do a panel on this because I think it's a great topic.
Sorry.
No, you're all good. Doug, let's pivot to you. What do you see in your world happening over the next year?
I mean, I kind of shared it earlier about consolidation and safe banking, really. I could elaborate on a little bit more, but it's really just about getting funds to smaller craft operators and being able to operate in a space that they can compete, right?
I'm going to jump
Florida,
in and help my friend Doug out here because I think
Go.
Boveda is going to have the best packaging in the industry in 2022 because I know they're working on something super cool that I don't know if he's allowed to share or not, but I know that Boveda is going to change the packaging game.
Damn, Todd Rosales dropping bombs over here. So
I'm good at spilling secrets.
You know what? I'm going to
I was
save that
about
for the
to say,
podcast.
you might be in
We're
trouble.
going to do that on Elevate Your Grind, all right, Todd? Right now, we're going to save that for later. Can't talk about that right now.
Nice. Little
But Boveda
teaser.
does have some really cool stuff coming out for 2022 and beyond. Some really cool packaging that is going to change the game. And that's from the selfish Boveda plug standpoint. Thanks, Todd.
Yeah. Hey, Doug, I'm going to reach out and I want to actually give a thank you to Boveda. Boveda actually got involved with us back during our constitutional amendment times. Great guy named Charlie Rutherford, one of my favorite human beings. But anyways, I'm starting to like you a lot too, but Charlie's got a couple of years on you at this point, but some great products, especially in humid Florida, right? I mean, of all the places for it to make sense, here. And so I look forward to following up more with you on any and all of that. Amanda, are you good with me giving a couple updates on
Sure, take it away.
predictions, etc.?
Yeah, do it.
So I mean, I agree with most of the rest of you on, I think, a lot of the general trends outside of Florida. And so I'll try and stick to that because that's kind of more of where I've been focused. And then I'll relate a little bit to the national scene. I think it's a little bit disappointing we haven't seen more on the federal level. I think especially with the setup of how everything is right now. And whether that's with the criminal justice promises that were made or the progress that could be made from banking and some of those other things. I think that's been disappointing, and I hope we can see some more happen as it relates to that. On Florida, it's a statewide election year, both for the governor and most of our elected officials. So they've started their legislative their 60 days of lawmaking early. And so that's going on right now. We just finished up week 2. I got back last night, so I apologize for not being on our prep call. But there's a variety of bills. Most of the bills that get filed in Tallahassee, I'd say, I don't know what the exact number is, and I wish I did right now, but I'd say 95% of them don't get passed. You have to get your bills into committee. They need to move. You only have 60 days. And so, there's a variety of bills that are kind of up right now. There's only 2 that are matching that relate to cannabis. Some have some hemp rules in them. Both of them have some telemedicine opportunities for recertifications, which aren't allowed still. I'm hoping that the legislature will do something on that, because if they don't, those went away in July and they won't be back until at least July of 2023. And, we get a bunch of elderly, terminal, and disabled people that are in the system. The average age is over 50. I mean, I just don't understand how they think it's okay to not allow something like that to continue. And it was the governor's order. And so I think there's been a lot of bipartisan support of that, and we're going to see kind of where that moves forward. What I did think was pretty interesting this week is they had a discussion on a bill that would basically make it impossible to put anything into a constitutional amendment in Florida in the future. And so that would preclude a lot of things that many of you may consider or want to come up. And so I would pay attention to that resolution as it moves. It's it basically would limit, there was a variety of things that have been put on the ballot recently, whether that was restoration of rights or Everglades stuff or wage related things, or if you want adult use or anything else that you may want. I think that's something that's being, they've already made it 60%. They have a bill every year to possibly make it 66%. They made a bunch of rules last year to make it harder. But I think that is really the one way when the legislature does not move and fails that you're able to do things. So I just wanted to put that on people's radar to keep an eye out for. But I would, if you are able to, go to floridaforcare.org/find your legislators, and you can find who yours are, request that they co-sponsor. It's House Bill 333 by J.R. Williamson, or Senate Bill 164. I think those are the easiest with the fewest committees. And then to be against this other bill, which is a little bit harder to locate within the actual Florida lawmaking, but it's a joint resolution 1127, and there's a very similar bill that has nothing to do with this. But if you want any more information, I can let you know on that. But we'll see where that goes. Hopefully that's going to die and go nowhere. But those are kind of some of the things that are being discussed right now as far as the state goes. And I hope we see some forward movement on that, and some criminal justice reform, expungement, parole, all that kind of stuff.
Thank you for the summary on what's going on in Tallahassee right now. That was very informative. I appreciate it. I can't, reiterate the importance of what Eric just said. Reach out to your local legislators and representatives. Have your voice heard in Tallahassee. If you are able to be more proactive, feel free to reach out to Eric. Go up to Tallahassee, go attend meetings, have your voice heard. That is very much an important fight here in the state of Florida. Tim, we're running out of time, so I'm going to try to move quick. Tim, what are some of your predictions?
Thanks a lot. I'll be quick. More than a prediction, I think from my perspective, because we actually have to touch and sell and work and grind within the laws and legislations in multiple states, I get to see a lot. I'm on the ground a lot. I do a lot of market research, just walking in the stores, dealing with creating a company that is attractive to investors has taught me a lot as well. And what I'm seeing is I predict, or I feel that there's going to be a lot bigger push to bring the legacy and what they call the corporate side together. This used to be something that I always, I felt like this is the only way every blueprint that you see works in this industry. The two sides have a perfect symposium together. And it's going to take that, because the definition of talent in cannabis is subjective, right? if you look at your average CEO in cannabis, if you just go on their LinkedIn, they're switching companies every year and a half. And that's because talent is subjective when you're talking about moving CPG of cannabis off of shelves. You can't take a guy who worked for Big O Tires and put him into a market somewhere and expect for him to perform. So at the end of the day, I think you're going to see the bottom line of the bigger companies forcing them to actually go out. It's kind of like being owning an NFL team and you don't have scouts at the lower levels. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's kind of, it's kind of audacious. Like, and I think from my perspective, coming from the legacy side, right, I think you're going to see, like someone said before, a lot of these brands are running out of money, which is going to force them to actually learn what it takes to attract a corporate entity to get in business with you, because you can't just say, hey, I know more about bud than you. I've been doing it for 20 years. I'm at the ground level. Nobody really wants to hear that. They're going to want to know, what's your corporate structure like with the banking? You know, the big thing about the banking, if you just look at big corporations, again, all they do is structure a holding company, put the brands under it, you go open bank accounts in the holding company and everything falls under it. So this is just a learning curve and an education that I think both sides are coming to a realization. Everybody wants to make money. Everybody wants to be in the game and have success. And I think people not making money and then the race to the bottom with flower is causing everybody to, okay, hold on, who really knows what they're talking about? And hold up, who really knows how to run a company? So I think you're going to see a lot more of the two coming together in the next year.
I agree, absolutely. Great observation. And yeah, let's see what the year ahead holds. Last but not least, Klaus, what do you see both for Trulieve and just for the market in general?
You saving the best for last?
You know it.
I usually, it's my first meeting here with you guys, even though I've been with C-Lab or been joining C-Lab for many years. I'm the type of guy that I like to sit back and just listen in, and this has been a great conversation. So I'm sorry I haven't opened up or shared too much. I'll try to keep it light. I've been in the industry. I didn't brief myself, but I've been in the cannabis industry here in Florida since 2016. I saw Amendment 2 pass. I started working with one of the largest group of clinics in Florida, and we started giving away cards. We started seeing patients and mailing paperwork and waiting for 3 months for patients to get their cards. So I've seen a lot of changes here in Florida, and I've seen the evolution of this market. It's been almost 6 years now, and everybody says, there's a lot of growth, it's going to explode, this and that. I mean, the cannabis industry exploded many years ago. Now who we have in here it's really people that have written, we wrote it out. We've been patient enough. You mentioned something about taking pay cuts. We all took the pay cut a long time ago. And I don't know if it's paid off. It's paid off for some. Some people cashed out and they left the industry. And another comment you just said, you look at LinkedIn profiles and people are changing industries and positions every 6 months, every year. I've been with Trulieve for almost 4 years now. I don't even, this is the expansion has been insane. When I joined the company, we had 14 stores in Florida. Now we have 111. And it's going to keep on growing. We don't have 100 SKUs. We have like 600 SKUs. So the company's big, and we're going places. We're doing these partnerships. Everything started with Blue River partnership a few years ago. Now we're bringing brands like Connected. So, and I think the thing that's happening here, the industry, there's an evolution to it. And as much respect as everybody has for the legacy market, California paved the way 30 years ago. It's 2022 and things change, and we need to stick with the time. And as we all grow, people have to make these business decisions. So if you're going to join an established company that has, the right amount of size and the right production facility for you to grow your quality craft products, why not? I think these partnerships are, when we do these type of partnerships, we're making sure that the growers are bringing their know-how and they're doing things their way. So we're hoping that all these products that we bring on board are going to be successful. We've been launching new products. We brought diamonds to market almost a month ago. We're launching craft reserve premium flower with the cultivar collection. We're bringing new in-house brands and partnerships. So my predictions, I'm here in Florida, and I hope to stay here in Florida for a while. My predictions, I'm a numbers guy, and I'm doing outreach, and my goal here is to really grow the patient population in Florida. Before I get into that, the hiring, that is something that's huge. The cannabis industry, it's employing so many people that it's amazing, and I'm looking forward on to seeing more talent joining this industry and really doing it for the right reasons. We're looking for talent, and shameless plug here. My team, I'm actually hiring right now, and I need educators across Florida. So please hit me up. But we also have restrictions, right? So becoming an employed MMTC or an MMTC employee in Florida, you have to pass a level 2 background check. So there are a lot of roadblocks for us to getting into this industry as an employee, as a business owner, as an investor. So we still got ways to go here in Florida and in the rest of the world. But my numbers are really simple. So we started, let me read it here real quick. We started in January 1st, 2021 with 459,000 patients in Florida. And we added about 200,000 patients throughout the year. We closed down with 656,000 patients. My projection is we're going to get to 1 million patients by the end of this year. I know it's ballsy and it might not happen, but I'm working really hard with a lot, some of the people that are on the screen and all of the industry partners that we have. We're trying to get out there at events, and we're trying to find what's that game changer here in Florida, that catalyst I've been calling it, to really get people to sign up to the program. We need workplace protection. We need to get the concealed thing, out of the way. So that's about it. Those are my projections. Again, I do outreach for Trulieve here in Florida. So if anybody has any, sponsorship opportunities or anything like that, or anybody want to join my team for outreach, let me know. Thank you for the opportunity and great conversation.
Klaus, I actually have a question for you, if you don't mind. It might be in the hearts and mind of everybody in this chat. I think a lot of us can say we're all pumped for Connected to come to Florida, right? I know myself, Tim, we're California cannabis guys and converted. And I just make the joke that weed is like pizza. It's the best in California. You don't realize it until you go there and try it again. But we're excited for Connected, given the massive footprint that Trulieve has. How available is that going to be at stores? Just, you guys have a bazillion and 0.27 stores, and obviously a lot of product goes out the door. So I'm just curious to know, are we going to have a hard time finding Connected and Alien Labs on the shelves for the original future? And again, that's not a bad thing. It's popular. It's going to sell.
No. So, the industry has exploded, and there's so many patients right now that you're not servicing a small craft or a small batch of people. So 20, 30 years ago, you could grow your craft product. You could service, 500 clients, 1,000. We're talking about almost 700,000 patients here in Florida. So that is going to be a challenge. That's a great question. I don't know exactly the amount of growth space that they're going to get, but I foresee when we start doing these releases, they're going to be more on the limited side. And we start we work out some sort of process where we can get people to pretty much pre-secure their orders. But yeah, it is going to be limited, unfortunately. And with time, we start scaling it up where we can service the whole patient population in Florida. It's a great question, but it's one of the challenges that we live with. And, it is a growing industry. We've been a company that, believe it or not, we've only been open, active, and operating for 5 years. So it's not like we came in and we knew all the rules to the game. You live and you learn and you grow every day. So that's a challenge that we live with. I'll give you an update once I have some info, and I'll send you the press release so you can read the whole thing. Thank you, Todd.
Can you send me the press samples for Connected?
Yeah, send the press samples, bro.
Over here too, please. And I'll make sure they're fresh.
I do have a podcast, so just saying.
You guys just got to stay tuned. Stay tuned when the release is coming. And
do you have any predictions when that might be? I know it's somewhat new, but has there been any speculation on when that product might launch?
No. So when you get the press release is just when we pretty much just sign the agreement. So that takes time to get, you got to get the project into production. You got to get it into production. You start growing. So it could take months. I honestly don't have a date right now, but I'll make sure to bring some updates. And then, whenever we're going to release, if you guys are aware or you're in the know, look out for me. Maybe I can help you. I'll try.
And just one last thing, Amanda, I know you gotta get out of here. The MSO and the craft thing, the term craft, it is all craft. There is, the only people that sell metric tons of cannabis anywhere are drug dealers. People who are in the legitimate business, it is still, you have billion-dollar company, but your market is not that big. It's state by state. And just to use, again, not to keep using California, because I don't really get the stats for Florida that often, but there's 722 retail stores in California. Only 400 of them actually sell product and turn a profit. So if you say there's 650 or 700,000 patients, you're really going to have to break it down to who's really spending the money in your store and work from that number. And I think a lot of people will see it's really all more craft than big production. That's all I want to say.
Very good point. Astute. I like it.
Mo Kaisman.
I also want to say congratulations to Klaus. This is on a personal level. He is a new father, so congratulations. We're so excited for you. I'm sorry, you probably.
We're gonna have somebody else popping up in the background soon.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll still be here when he's walking around and getting in the background. But thank you, Amanda. The C Lab, everybody, Robert, shout out, man. You guys are great. Looking forward on the conference. I know we're gonna do a hell of a job. We're gonna come in there, with the whole team, and the panels are gonna be amazing. So thank you very much for the shout out. I really appreciate you guys. And on another type of note, I'm here, and I know why I'm here. I'm filling some very, very big shoes, and I know that I'm not as good looking and as funny and as wonderful and magical as Jenny was, but I'm gonna try to do my best, and I do remember, and I know you guys remember her very much, and I just wanted to take a little second here to really just remember her. And I wouldn't be here if it weren't for her. I mean, that's a 500% fact. So thank you, Jenny, for everything, and we will be we'll be working really hard for her, and she changed so many lives in Miami and Florida and in the whole world. So yeah, everybody just remember her, and I don't know, let's we've been talking about it. Maybe we can do something for her, and I don't know, maybe even start something big. So I will try to do my best to really fill her shoes, and I'll be representing for her. So Jenny, we love you.
Yeah, on that note. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
You have all my support for anything for Jenny as well. The only reason I am a C-Lab member and a sponsor and now a leader is because she adamantly, me and my friends, you guys need to understand business. You guys need to get in this circle. So anything you need, anybody doing anything on behalf of Jenny, we're all the way 100% involved. And congratulations again, Klaus.
I know Masha and I have been discussing trying to put together some kind of fund or something in her name and in her honor. So let's definitely all collaborate. I'll try not to get emotional about it, but I think a lot of people on this call is the reason that they came to C-Lab. I know when I first started coming to C-Lab, she was definitely one of the friendliest people that made me feel welcome in this industry. So we definitely miss her a lot. But anyways, on a different note, thank you everybody for joining. I think this has been an absolutely wonderful panel. I love how our chat has gotten so engaged and everybody has been sharing information. Before we leave, before I cancel and we turn it off tonight, there's some great information. So download that chat or click on those links and open them up in a web browser, because we shared a lot of great information tonight. Can't wait to see where C-Lab takes us in the next year. We have amazing panels to come. So please stay tuned. I don't see any questions dropped in the chat. I appreciate everybody who stuck on, even though we ran over. Feel free to reach out to any of us if you have questions that weren't answered, but thank you guys. I really appreciate your time and all your efforts tonight. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
Good night.
Thank you, guys.